Well, I would say, first of all, please don't apologize.
Yeah.
No, it's not psychological. You're describing your real raw experience. I find that quite revealing and vulnerable for you to share in front of a group what your experience is. It's valuable to share. Um, and we can talk about all of what you're going through, right? It's all part of this. So just to start with that, um, and yeah, you're describing a doubt about your capacity. So it's the way I would suggest to look at that is try flipping it around a bit in certain ways. So obviously, and you know this, you're describing a belief, right? It's a belief that you don't have the capacity. So the way I would flip it around is just play with the idea, kind of as a different belief, that you want it this way. That it's not something that's happening to you, that you're how do you say, in Catholicism and Christianity, it's like you're not doomed, cursed, or there's more of this sense of original sin, something wrong with you. So play with a sense of this being something you actually want and choose and get something out of. And it's not, you said, like self-crucifixion, like there's a masochism. It's not that. Because those are all from the perspective, something wrong, you're either masochistic or you have a problem, something's lacking in you, don't have the ability. All of that kind of thing is one perspective, is one belief system. Look at it, and the one that I'm giving you to contrast, it's going to, if you truly look, kind of like of a different point of view, different paradigm. We're going to use a paradigm to contrast another one so that you can move towards freedom from paradigms themselves. But one paradigm is there is nothing wrong with you. There is something deeper that wants it this way. And it's not because of you being cursed. That's the other paradigm. Something wrong with you, you're being cursed, there's a defect in your nature, you were made this way, there's nothing you can do about it. The harder you try, nothing works, all this kind of thing. There's always this something there that's just not letting go, the hook thing. That's all one paradigm. The other paradigm is you are deeply choosing this for the right reasons. That's the point of this paradigm, is to get you to wonder what could be the right reason, and not for me to tell you what they are or what it is, but for you to start to look at what's the other side, what could be the right reason. And you said there's this fear and how you cling to the identity of in thought. Okay, now play with a sense of maybe you don't want to ever let go. Why would you want to let go? What do you mean by not existing? I just want to pause you. What do you mean by there's existing and then there's not existing? What do you mean by not existing? So that's what you're calling, what you just described is the non-existing. Well, yeah, but don't dismiss it, because it's a real aspect of what is experienced on that edge. And your fear of never letting go, what if you come to this other paradigm and wonder, what if I don't want to ever let go? And that is okay. And that is the right thing for me. And what if I want to do this for 1,000 more lives before letting go? And that's totally okay. There's a beauty in that. Well, I think when you're pretty regularly in this call saying something quite revealing and vulnerable and profound, and then you judge it. And so you kind of undermine or dismiss it. Da 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 da, it's all mental. Da da da, it's psychological. Da da da, I know it's this. I know it's that. It's this constant undermining of something you're revealing, which is very human and very vulnerable to share in a group. I find it valuable. People can relate to you. I relate to you. It reminds me of how brutal it was and how hard and challenging. And I understand you're feeling torn. What I'm pointing to is, what if it would require for you to trust that you will let go when you want to? And since you haven't, you don't want to. And it's not because of a curse that's part of the other paradigm. It's because you don't want to yet. There's something here that you're wanting to experience in this way. And what I'm saying, 1,000 lives, like, okay, maybe it's 3 that you want, 3 more, or 1, or the half of this one. Just to play with the idea of it'll happen when you want to. Yeah. Compared to contrasting the belief that you want to fully, 100% of you wants it, and you just can't because you're cursed. You were made with a defect. Talon. The Talon. And so contemplate it as something that could be at one level absolutely true and real. Because I'm saying at one level because you say, well, it's all mental, it's all psychological. Okay, but at that level, you're dismissing as mental, psychological. There's a reality where you're getting trapped. And so bring the paradigm that contrasts that. And then play with them. Play with the one that you know well, and play with this one, which is like, but wait, what if? What if at that level that I feel so real that I don't want to let go, that I want to and I can't, sorry. What if there's this other side, which is I don't want to. I want it this way. what if something does? And I can tell you my personal experience. It's very, very clear to me that I wanted to suffer in every way that I did. And I chose it with passion and from absolute love of the experience of it. I wanted to know deeply the depths of hell. I had a glimpse at around 18 or 19 when I was at the depth of it. I had a glimpse, very brief glimpse of I'm choosing this. And I'm wanting to know this. And I was like, what? Then it was gone. I never forgot it. But it was gone as an experience of, that's how I was knowing the experience. But that's what sent me off into this whole exploration, this journey. And now it's just really clear how much beauty there was in the contraction. If I summarize the hellish suffering as just contraction, and in a sense I was wanting to know how tight things could get, wound up, how contracted, how compressed. Yeah, I mean, I'm using the compression as a way to describe that kind of a felt sense of it, of identification. I really wanted to know it, and I still feel I would do it again. I wouldn't change a thing. I mean, I would actually probably dive deeper into it, knowing that it was playful, and knowing how deeply I know it now, I would have more bravado to just go more into it. Just fully live everything, and just suffering and all, contraction and identification, illusion, everything that seemed like the bad thing, just go right into it. Just play with the sense that you're actually choosing this. So just go into it. When you don't want it anymore, really, you're gonna not choose it. It's not masochism. It's not original sin. Well, that probably is what they're referring to, but it's judged. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying, as a paradigm, or a God wants to know what it is like to be human and to be in complete absolute illusion. And for that, you need to forget your God. If you can't forget, you can't know. How can you live the terror of being perishable flesh and the thrill of that in such a vulnerable little bit of biological compound on a rock in the middle of space, knowing you're gonna perish at any moment, at most a few decades? How could you know that experience if you don't forget what you are? And so it's absolute love of being you, being human. So I respect that.